everybody, I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm doing a reading of The Plant That Ate Dirty Socks by Nancy MacArthur. Here I have quite a very old copy of the book, so to anybody watching this, you may have a newer copy, different cover art, but yeah, I just have this really old one. And I will be reading through chapters 1 to 3. This is an educational video to help like dyslexic students or students who memorize and contain information better via listening, auditory learning. So, yeah. Let's begin. I open up. Chapter 1. Michael was the world's messiest kid. His brother, Norman, 3 years younger, was a neatness nut. This would not have been such a big problem, except they shared the same room. Norman's side looked like a picture in a magazine. Michael's side looked like a jump heap. Their clothes crumpled on the floor, socks and comic books under the bed, metal kits with pieces scattered all over, baseball cards, rocks, bird feathers, pine cones, and heaps of books and papers. And that was just the top layer. When Norman was supposed to make his bed, he just did it. When Michael was forced to make his bed, first he had to find it. Mom kept saying about 42 times a week, "Put that up, put this away, throw that out." Dad kept saying, "Where does all this stuff come from? Is it multiplying at night when we're asleep?" Norman kept complaining, "Your junk is oozing across the middle of my side of the room." "I'm going to build a wall," he yelled, "to defend myself from all that messiness." Michael yelled back, "I'll build a wall so I won't have to look at all that neatness." "No walls," said Mom. "How about drawing a line?" They measured to find the exact middle. Then they made the line with tape right across the rug. Norman had fun kicking Michael things back across the line, if they were sticking over even just a tiny bit. When Michael had any clear space, he told Norman, "Your neatness is oozing over on my side. Ugh." Then he would strew more stuff around than before. Even a touch of neatness would look like giving in. He daydreamed about inventing a robot that would make his bed, clean up, and take Norman on a spaceship to another planet. Then he could amaze everybody by entering the robot in the grade science fair. This was the first year his grade could enter. It was a long way off, but his friends were already getting good project ideas. One of these days he was going to look through his junk to find something to make a really different project. In the meantime, the piles of stuff kept getting higher. He usually got his clothes off the floor and into the wash, so he would have something to wear. But his dirty socks seemed to keep escaping. They got under the bed, under a book, under anything big enough for a balled-up sock to hide under. Mom said, "We're not buying any more until your feet get too big for the ones you've got. Keep digging until you find those missing socks." At laundry time, Michael would go on a sock hunt, but he never seemed to find them all. Sometimes he found things that had been buried for months. "Help!" yelled Norman. "This room is sinking under all this junk." Michael put a few things in the waste basket to shut him up. He could get them back out later. Someday, Norman warned, "I'm going to throw all this out when you're not home. Then I won't tell you where I threw it so you can't get it back." "Don't you dare," said Michael. "Maybe I'll just throw away one thing at a time. You'll never notice what's gone." Norman was a big pain in the neck, but once in a while, Michael made a deal with him. If he wanted something from Norman, he would trade him some good junk he didn't want anymore. If Norman wanted something from him, Michael would get him to help clean up, since he was so good at it. "See, it's easy," Norman would say. "Not for me," said Michael. "It's not one of my many talents." Michael hated to throw anything away. Dad asked why he was keeping some mysterious pieces of metal and 3 dead batteries. He explained, "I might be able to make something out of those." Mom told him to throw out the socks in an empty pop cans. Rocks. Sorry. He explained, "Those are 2 of my collections." Norman protested about Muncho Cruncho cereal box tops all over the place. Michael explained, "As soon as I save up 25 of them, I'm sending it in for a free plastic race car kit." Michael was always sending away for things. It usually took him so long for them to come in the mail that when they did arrive, it was a nice surprise. One day he got a small package with 2 dried beans in it. The leaflet with them said, "Here are the amazing beans you ordered. For best results, follow directions carefully." There was no clue about what kind of plants these beans would grow to be. Michael could not remember what he had sent for. He planted one of the seeds in a big flower pot and put it on the side of a sunny windowsill between the beds. The leaflet got lost, so he dumped some water in the pot and hoped it was the right amount. Norman said, "Whatever the plant turns out to be, it better not grow big and ooze all over my side of the window." To shut him up, Michael gave him the other bean to grow. Norman watered his carefully every morning with the super splasher water blaster, a bigger than regular water pistol. Michael warned, "Yours better not ooze over on my side. If it does, my plant will strangle your plant." "Just what we needed," said Mom. Dueling plants. Every morning and afternoon after school, they looked to see if anything was happening with the amazing beans. Nothing. Then in Norman's pot, a tiny green dot appeared. "My plant is growing faster than your plant," boasted Norman. "Oh no," said Dad. "Now they're having a plant race." 2 days later, Michael saw a pale green speck in his pot. "Come on, plant," he said. "Let's go." The next morning it had grown an inch. After school, it was 4 inches high. "Amazing," he said. "Now I know how that story about Jack and the Beanstalk got started." Norman's plant started catching up. Michael saw a TV commercial that said plants grow bigger if you feed them with plant food. He asked his mother if they had any. "Look way back in the cupboard under the sink," she answered. "If there's any left, it's in a green bottle." He found a half-full green bottle without a label. He poured it on his plant and threw the bottle away. Mom called, "Be sure to give Norman half the plant food." "But I already used it all." "Oh, I hope it won't hurt your plant. You're only supposed to use a tiny bit and mix it with water. I'll buy another bottle so Norman can feed his too." As the plants grew bigger, so did the piles of Michael's stuff. His parents told him if they were all going to a space movie Saturday. If he didn't clean up by then, he could not go. He kept putting off getting started, so he didn't get it done. When his parents and Norman were going out the door to the movie, Mom said, "You have to clean that up by the time we get back, or else." "Or else what?" asked Michael. "I don't know, but by the time we get back, I'll think of something." "You've got 2 hours," said Dad, "so hurry up." 2 hours later, Michael was still dawdling along when Mom called up from a pizza place. "I've thought of an hour else. If you're not done cleaning up, we'll bring home a pizza. If not, we'll eat it here." For pizza, Michael would do almost anything. "Bring it home," he said. "I'll be done when you get here." When they arrived, all the junk was gone. Mom said, "You did a wonderful job." Dad said, "Nice work, son. What did you do with all that stuff?" "He must have hired a trash truck," said Norman, peering suspiciously under all the furniture. "Where is my fishing hat?" "You're wearing it," said Michael. "No, this is my baseball cap. My fishing hat is the green one. What did you do with it?" "I haven't seen it. Where did you leave it?" "It must be in the closet," said Norman. "No," said Michael. "I wouldn't look in there." "Why not? What's in there that you don't want me to see?" "Norman, don't open that door." "Why not?" There's a monster in there." "Ha!" said Norman, grabbing the knob. "Get out of my way." "You won't like it," warned Michael. "This closet's half mine, so if there's a monster in here, it better be on your side," said Norman. He yanked the door open. "Aha!" he exclaimed as stacks of Michael's stuff fell out in an avalanche and all over him. "Michael, are you all right?" Michael asked a pile of stuff. 2 eyes and a baseball cap, slightly dented, were sticking out of it. "Griffiths, Griffiths," said Norman. "What?" Michael cleared all the stuff away from Norman's mouth. "I'll get you for this," Norman was saying. "I told you not to open the door." Michael dug him out. "You made all of this fall out of the closet, so now you have to help me clean it up." "No way!" screeched Norman. He stomped out of the room. Michael started over. He stacked half the stuff in shorter piles in his half of the closet. He crammed the rest under his bed. He even put a few things in the wastebasket. By the time he got his share of the pizza, it was cold. "Pizza is good for you," said Dad, "even when it's cold." Maybe it's good for plants too, Michael thought. So he snuck some tiny pieces of pizza into the dirt around his plant. Chapter 2. Both plants were growing fast. The sprouts turned into strange vines and began crawling up the window. As the days passed, little leaves spread out into long, pointed shapes. Then they curled up like dark green ice cream cones. Norma said, "These plants look weird." "You're right about something for once," Michael agreed. Michael's friend Jason, who lived on the other side of town, had his mother drop him off one Saturday to see the plants. "You're right," he said. "These are weird." Norman was using the bottled plant food, measuring carefully. Michael sloshed some of that on his plant once in a while. He also slipped it a little dessert, a dab of peanut butter, chocolate chip cookie crumbs, a spoonful of pumpkin pie, and bits of Muncho Cruncho. His vines got thicker than Norman's. Were they getting fat from all the goodies? He switched to bits of vegetables to see what would happen. "Can I have a little broccoli, please?" he asked at dinner. "Why this sudden urge for broccoli?" said Mom, passing it to him. "I usually have to tell you to eat it or else. I want to feed some to my plant." "Aha!" said Norman. "No fair, feeding your plant extra stuff. I'm just experimenting." Dad said, "Those plants are getting too big too fast. If they keep on like this, they'll fill up the whole room. So no more feeding them plant food, not even broccoli, just sun and water." "But that will wreck my experiment," protested Michael. "No, you've seen how it grows with feeding. Now see how it grows without it." "What if it collapses from no food?" Dad smiled. "That plant looks like as if it can take care of itself." Mom added, "It looks like as if it could take over the whole house. Now eat your broccoli, or else." "Or else what?" asked Michael with his mouth full of broccoli. "Or else tomorrow we'll have those plants for dinner," joked Mom. Both plants slowed down. Norman's seemed to stop growing, while Michael's kept getting bigger. "Are you sneaking food to yours?" asked Norman, "when I'm asleep." "No, honest, I'm not," replied Michael. He was puzzled too. "Then why is yours still growing when mine isn't?" "Well, maybe my messy growing methods work better than your neat ones." Mom came in with the laundry basket. They handed over their dirty clothes, but Michael could only find only 5 escaped socks. "There must be more here somewhere," he said. "They'll turn up," said Mom, "the next time you clean up." But they didn't. The next time he found only 3. This mystery, he decided, was easy to solve. "Norman, you're swiping my socks and hiding them when I'm asleep." "Nope, honest, I'm not. I wouldn't touch your yucky old socks." "Okay, you guys," said Mom. "We're all going to look until we find them. Norman, why are you putting on your football helmet?" "Because I'm going to look in the closet." He yanked the door open. "Avalanche!" he yelled, but not much fell out. He was only up to his knees in junk. Norman looked disappointed. He high-stepped out of the pile and dived into the back of the closet. Michael found one sock in his acorn collection. Mom found another one in a bulging book called The Glob That Ate Outer Space. "Don't lose my place," said Michael, putting a blue jay feather between the pages where the sock had been. "Aha!" exclaimed Norman from the closet. A rolled-up sock came flying out and bounced off Michael's head. "Aha! Aha!" shouted Norman. 2 more zoomed through the air and bonked Michael. "Stop throwing socks!" yelled Michael. "I can't stop throwing them." "Why not?" "Because I'm kicking them." Another sock sailed overhead. "If you don't stop that," Michael warned, "I'm going to drop kick your football helmet with you in it." "No fighting," said Mom. "No more sock kicking." Norman came out holding a sock with one hand and his nose with the other. "Get me that," Mom said. "Now we're missing at least 10 more." They looked into and under everything. "No more socks." "Strange," said Mom, "that there were more in the closet than out here." "Yeah," said Michael. "I mostly dropped my socks right around here by my bed." That night, when he took off his socks, he put them on top of his acorn box right next to the bed. That they could not get lost among his junk. The next morning, they were gone. "Okay, Norman, very funny. Where are the socks I put here last night?" "I didn't touch your smelly old socks." "Well, they couldn't walk away by themselves." "Why not? Socks have feet in them." "Come on. Where did you hide them?" "Maybe the monster in the closet took them." "The only monster that's been in that closet is you." "Honest, I didn't take them. Something very weird is going on." They looked all over. They even used a magnifying glass from Norman's detective kit to search for clues, but the socks had disappeared without a trace. At bedtime, Michael told Norman, "We're going to solve this mystery tonight." "Good. I love to detect," said Norman. Michael dug around in his stuff and found only some black string he had known would come in handy someday. He took off his socks, tied the strings to them, and put them where the others had vanished. Then he got into bed, laid there with his arms straight out, and told Norman to tie the strings to his wrists. Norman got his super splasher water blaster and his favorite disguise from his detective kit and climbed into bed. "You don't need a disguise in the dark," said Michael. "I always detect better when I'm wearing one," replied Norman. He turned out the light and put on his disguise. "Ready?" said Michael. "Ready," said Norman. They had left the door ajar, so a little light came in from the hall. They could barely see the white socks on the floor. They lay there in the dark, waiting. Nothing happened. They waited some more. Norman was lying on his side, staring at the socks. Suddenly, one moved. "It's moving!" he shouted, and began squirting wildly with his water blaster. "Oh no!" yelled Michael. "I saw it," Norman insisted excitedly. "It was creeping fast across the floor. Then it jumped up in the air and fell down. There it goes again!" he yelled, bouncing up and down his bed, squirting more water in every direction. "No," said Michael. "My eyes started to itch. I forgot and reached up to scratch it." Their parents ran in and turned on the light. There was a Michael with strings and socks dangling. Water was dripping off his hair and the end of his nose. Norman was waving a giant water pistol and wearing glasses with an attached rubber nose and mustache. Water was dripping off the plants and soaking into the rug and beds, running down the halls. "I know," said Mom, "that has to be a logical explanation for all this, but it better be a good one, or else." As they wiped up with towels, Michael explained. "Mom took the socks for safekeeping. Norman refilled his water blaster, but Dad took it away from him." "But I need that," wailed Norman, "to water my plant." "No," said Dad. "Everything in this room has been watered enough already. I'll keep it next to my bed so there won't be any more midnight water adventures in here." Since the beds were damp, Michael and Norman had to spend the rest of the night on the living room couch, one at each end with their feet kicking each other in the middle. As they were falling asleep, Michael whispered, "Tomorrow I'll think of a new master plan." Chapter 3. But the next day, he decided to try his original master plan once more. It might have worked if his nose hadn't itched. "But what if your nose itches again?" asked Norman. "I'm only going to use one sock, so I'll have one hand to scratch." Norman said, "I don't have my water blaster, so I'll use my bow and rubber suction cup arrows." "Your aim with that," said Michael, "would be worse than the water pistol. We'd end up with rubber arrows stuck all over me and the ceiling. I'll just wear a disguise, so if something is stealing your socks, I can scare it off. A robot helmet looks pretty scary. See, if something sneaks in here, it'll expect to see kids in our beds, not a robot. You should wear a disguise too, then. Then it'll be really scared." Michael thought Norman's idea was dumb, but what hurt? He dug around in his stacks and put on a rubber gorilla head. "Where did you get that?" asked Norman, his eyes lighting up. "I traded Jason Greensmith a lot of stuff for it. He terrified everybody in his neighborhood with it last Halloween." "It doesn't look very scary," said Norman. "It does when you have it on," replied Michael. "Oh, good. Can I wear it, please?" Michael could see this would be the perfect thing to make a deal with the next time he wanted something big from Norman. "No, maybe we can make a deal later," he said. "I'm going to wear it tonight. You get your robot helmet." After they went to bed, they whispered back and forth in the dark until they heard their parents close their bedroom door. Then they got their flashlights from under the blankets where they had hidden them. Norman tied the string to Michael's wrist, and Michael tied the other end to the sock. Then they turned off the flashlights and got back into bed and put on their disguises. "Ready?" said Michael. "Ready," said Norman. Then they waited a long time. Suddenly Norman whispered, "If your nose itches, remember, don't use the wrong hand." Okay. They waited some more. Norman whispered, "How will you scratch your nose with that mask on?" "My nose is probably not going to itch. It hardly ever does. But what if it does? The mask has big holes under the nose to breathe. I can scratch there. Be sure not to use the wrong hand. Will you stop worrying about my nose? I just want to be sure after what happened last time. Norman, we're going to find out what makes these socks disappear. We have to keep quiet. It only happens when we're asleep, so we have to pretend we are." Norman was quiet for a long time. Nothing happened. Then he whispered, I hope it's a raccoon. Why? I like raccoons. Norman, stop it. Okay, okay. Then Michael whispered, don't get excited. I'm just going to scratch my nose. I knew this would happen, said Norman. Are you using the wrong hand? No. It was getting late, lying in the dark, pretending to be asleep. They could not stay awake. Michael woke suddenly. Something was tugging at his string. He whispered, It's moving to Norman. It's moving to Norman and switched on his flashlight. He saw something green curling around the white sock. A long vine from his plant was dragging along the floor. He yelled at Norman to wake up. Marg, mumbled Norman, still completely conked out. The vines lifted the sock up to one of the big curled leaves. The ice cream cone shape slowly began sucking it in. Said the plant as the sock disappeared. Wake up! Shouted to Michael as he cut the string from his wrist. Michael, who had fallen asleep holding his flashlight, turned it on. Seeing a gorilla looming up in the dark, he gave a blood-curdling eek! And leaped from his bed and zoomed out the door. His parents, awakened by the horrible noises, were getting out of bed to come to the rescue. Suddenly they saw a ghostly robot hurtle to their room. Dad, still half asleep, grabbed Norman's super splasher water blaster from the bedside table. He let the robot have it right in the stomach. At the first cold white squirt, Norman ducked and disappeared. Michael, running in right behind them, got the rest of the water. Mom turned on the light. A short gorilla in wet pajamas stood at the end of the bed. You're not going to believe this, he said, but my plant just ate my sock. You're right, said the gorilla's mother. I don't believe any of this. Dad looked around. I saw something in the dark that looked like a robot. Where's Norman? Down here, said a familiar voice from under the bed. I thought a gorilla was after me. Sorry, I'm laughing a lot. Mom grabbed his feet and pulled him out. Remember, she asked, when nights used to be normal around here? When everybody went to bed and just stayed there? What's next? Frankenstein and Wolfman? My friend Bob's got a good Frankenstein mask I could borrow, Norman suggested hopefully. No way, said Dad. Now, Michael, what about this dream you had about your plant? It wasn't a dream. I woke up and I saw it suck up my sock. Dad said soothingly. Everybody has amazing dreams once in a while that seem real. Michael turned to Norman. You woke up while it was happening. Tell Dad what you saw. All I saw was a gorilla coming at me in the dark. But I'm not going back in there. That plant might to get me. He clutched his throat and made a horrible noise. Nothing is going to get you, said Mom. I think you've both been reading too many books like The Glob that ate outer space. Let's find you some draw pajamas. Then we'll check out the plant. You'll see it was only a dream and there's nothing to be afraid of. Michael explained. It won't come after us. It only eats socks. Dad led the way to the boys' room and turned on the light. See, said Mom, your plant is just sitting there, not doing nothing as usual. Michael walked up to it. But I saw it eat the sock. He picked up a black string off the floor. This was tied to the sock. Here's the end that I cut. The other end looks sort of chewed. His parents looked closely. There must be some logical explanation for this, said Mom, but I have no idea what it is. Michael replied, the logical explanation is that the plant ate my sock, especially since I saw it. There's a Venus flytrap plant that eats insects, said Dad, but theirs is ridiculous. This must be a sock trap plant, said Norman. The way it's been growing, said Mom, and with all the socks we're missing, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll prove it to you with an experiment, said Michael. He took a pair of socks from his dresser drawer and put one in front of his plant and the other in front of Norman's. He tied black string around them and fastened the other ends to the bedposts. Now Norman and I will sleep on the couch. We'll lock this door, and in the morning you'll see what happened. He turned out the lights, locked the door, and gave the key to Mom. A moment after the door closed, Michael's plant rustled his leaves as if a little breeze was passing by. Then it made a funny noise that sounded like a contented burp after a good meal. Well, folks, that's it for my video on the plant that ate dirty socks, chapters 1 to 3. If you want to read more of what happens next, I highly suggest going to your local library or small bookstore, those businesses and communities really need your help. Recent years they've been really struggling, and it would help them a lot to go get books from there. And the Plant That Ate Dirty Socks is a very popular book series, so it will be easier to find than some other books. Um, as for anybody else who prefers audio listening, there should be plenty of audiobooks you can find online and in various resources. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and enjoy reading.